So children, the final thing which we are going to do before we wrap up with the chimney sweeper are the literary devices which have been used in the poem. The first one is alliteration. So it is the definition is when you have the same kind of letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. For example, like a lamps, LL, so I said, SS, and weep, 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 weep. So these are all alliterations. Metaphor again is a figure of speech in which a word or phrase is applied to an object or action to which it is not literally applicable. So it's like symbolically you are saying something. For example, and so Tom awoke and we rose in the dark. Here, dark is the metaphor of the miserable life. They are again waking up. The dream was bright, but again, when they are waking up, everything around them is dark and miserable. And the coffins of black, they again symbolize the chimneys because they are very spaceless, they are suffocating, and they basically are all about death. The coffins, the chimneys, they bring along the death, and coffins symbolize death. Then we come to simile, which is a figure of speech involving the comparison of one thing with another thing, which are two very different things. For example, here, that curd like a lamb's back was shaved. Here the poet compares Tom's hair with wool, the lamb being the symbol of innocence. So here we can also say one thing, that even when a lamb is sacrificed, the wool is first sheared. So the wool is shaved off the back of the lamb and then kept for profitable purposes, and then the lamb is sacrificed. So here Tom's innocence is being sacrificed. He is being forced into such a life where we know that he will not probably survive for long, and even if he does, his life is as miserable as anything else. Repetition, when a word is repeatedly used to emphasize on the significance of an action. Like this, weep, 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 weep. So here the word weep has been repeated to emphasize the young age of the sweeper and his agony or sorrow, as he says, weep, 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 weep.
No.
Imagery, visually descriptive language, especially in a literary work or collective visual images. So whatever, you can close your eyes and you can imagine anything. So your chimneys I sweep and in soot I sleep. So you can imagine this when you are closing your eyes. Or even things like, then down a green plain leaping, laughing, they run. You can imagine that these children are laughing and they are running. And got with our bags and our brushes to work. So this is all imaginable when you close your eyes. Symbolism, well, it is the use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meanings different from their literal meanings. Here, lamb is a symbol of innocence and childhood. The green plains symbolize life, freshness, freedom, prosperity. Naked and white, they are symbolic of angels, which we have discussed at length. And angels are people close to God. Then the rising above clouds is also symbolic of freedom from bondage and coming close to God even through death. Washing in the river, as I have said, symbolizes absolving of sins and breaking the bondage of slavery. And lastly, irony. So irony is when you're trying to tell something about a situation. The words are there to express something other than what it is apparently showing. So there are two, verbal irony and situational irony. I think we had done it the same way when we were studying Ozymandias. For example, the line, "And my father sold me while yet my tongue could scarcely cry, weep, 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 weep." While the narrator means to say that he was too young to pronounce the word sweep, the reader may interpret it as the child being so small and unable to cope with the shock of his mother's death, and the fact that instead of his father cradling him in his arms, selling him away, that the child is so under shock with sorrow that he can hardly even cry, weep, weep, weep. This is verbal irony when you hear something. Situational irony, it indicates a situation that appears strange because things have happened contrary, or something has happened which you were not expecting. Though the angel in the dream promises the child of a comfortable and secure life, when the children wake up in the morning, it does in no way improve the current condition of their lives. Thank you, children.